Hi, friends. Welcome to a very special night where we are blessed to be able to hear some stories about Gold Retreat. So I want to introduce all of you to one of our top leaders on the HealthWise Heroes team. Her name is Sandy Armstrong. And Sandy has been a member. I should have looked this up ahead of time. Sandy, you're going to have to tell us how many years.
In November will be number 6.
6 years almost. Okay, fantastic. She has been a faithful, consistent, amazing leader for almost 6 years on our team. And she has an amazing team that I think, fully appreciate how hard she works. And if you are on Sandy's team, you are incredibly blessed. I think that you know that. And tonight I just had reached out to Sandy to see if she would be willing to share a little bit about this fantastic trip that she earned from Young Living that she just went on last month. And the pictures just warmed my heart because it reminded me of how incredible Young Living treats us when we earn trips and when we get to go on retreat. So without further ado, I would love to turn this over to Sandy. And if you guys have any questions, those of you that are listening, we've got a chat box that we can keep up. And I would love for you to type in comments or questions in there, and we can sure cover those as Sandy is visiting with us. So Sandy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. And yes, it was a wonderful event. And so I'm excited to get to share with all of you. So Skyla and I had been visiting, and one of the things, and then as I was visiting with other people in my group, one of the things I didn't realize is people that was not aware that when you see people going on Young Living retreats, it's because we earn them, and Young Living pays for them. So they covered our airfare, our hotel, our food, all of the events, all the activities we did. I think there was 2 meals that we were on our own. But other than that, they take extremely well care of us. And one of the things that I wasn't aware of, and I mentioned this to Skyla, is my concern is, okay, I'm heading out there by myself, getting from the airport to the hotel. Well, it wasn't too long. I got an email from Young Living. They actually picked us up. They picked all of us up at the airport. They had buses there scheduled with the flights that were coming in. But probably one of the cool things was when I flew out of Des Moines, went to Minneapolis. And when I hit Minneapolis, there, first, right off the bat, I wore a Young Living shirt. And of course, right away, I started seeing other women with YL shirts on or Young Living backpacks. So, we started making connections right away. Go over and, hey, are you going to Gold Retreat? And just started talking. So probably one of the very best things was the people that I met from all over the world, all over the United States. And I got not only to meet them, but to ask them, what are you doing? And what's working? What's not working? And, those kind of questions. And so that was very, very beneficial. I heard things like, well, I guess, do you want me to go into that, or do you want me to give you the daily activities? Because, we had like a training day, so I, don't want to go all over the place. But
share however you want to, Sandy.
So, we would start visiting and sharing things that was working in our area or not working. And, one of the things that several of them talked about was having systems, having a system that you plug your people into and then being very, very consistent with that system. So whether it's a texting system, whether it's your Facebook system, email, most of them, I heard a lot of project broadcast, a lot of, doing texting, and staying in connection on a, not just monthly, but they were really encouraging your first 90 days of staying in touch every week when you plug in a new person. And so that was interesting to hear about different systems, not only learning that, but then they shared some of the things. And they went away, instead of like classes like Monday night hangout, mix and mingle. They did meetups. They kind of have renamed, instead of your traditional definitely not a class, but I've been saying oily gatherings, and they've even taken it a step further away from even saying oily gatherings to different names like that. So that was kind of interesting to hear how that was doing. But anyway, we got there on a Wednesday, so we had time to mingle. They got us to our hotel, checked in. A lot of us then went and grabbed a bite to eat while we were waiting for our rooms. They had registration. So at registration, of course, they have a swag bag. So we got a backpack, and in our backpack was lipstick, and they had your book and your pen. They had we had these wooden coasters, 4 wooden coasters that were made out of the trees from the farm. And so those are really cool. I should have put one here on my table so I could show you. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else was in it. We had a water bottle, we had a raincoat, just lots and lots of goodies in our backpack, of course. And then from there, of course, we got checked into our rooms, and then the first night was our introduction supper, and it was more on the formal. They had told us to bring a dress for that. So of course we got to hear from Jared Turner and several other people from corporate. Wonderful dinner, and of course you're at a table, so now you're meeting more people and getting to hear from them. I got to spend quite a bit of time with a gal from Poland and visit with her, which was really interesting to visit there in different ways that she does things. And then that was Wednesday night. On Thursday was our training day. Friday we went to the farm. Saturday we had our whitewater rafting, and then Saturday night was closing, and on Sunday we came home. So know that not only like I said, they covered all of those expenses. So on our training day, we had 2 speakers that were absolutely amazing. There was a book, it's called The 5 Choices. And this probably spoke to me just about as much as, well, there was another speaker that really spoke to me. But she was all about not only our mindset, but evaluating where are you really spending your time? Where do you want to get to? And how bad do you want it? If you're trying to get to the next rank, then you really need to break down where you really spend your time. And she broke it into 4 quadrants. And I'll just read these to you, and hopefully it will help some of you as it did me. So quadrant 1 is things that we all have to deal with. They are emergencies, last minute deadlines, pressing problems, unforeseen things. We all have them in life. You all have to deal with them. Those are our non-negotiables. If your child's sick, you have to take care of your child. She said, just don't allow things that are non-negotiables to end up in that quadrant 1, because she said she sees a lot of people that get on that. They feed off of emergencies and pressing deadlines, and they end up allowing things in quadrant 1 that shouldn't be there. Then quadrant 3 was what she called distractions. And she said that's where most people spend their time, is in what she refers to as distractions. Lots of interruptions, unnecessary reports, lots of unnecessary meetings, just a lot of minor issues, unimportant emails, unimportant text messages, phone calls, things that take our time but are not getting us where we need to go. Not that we don't need to do them, but you need to be aware of how much time you're putting into that quadrant. And then quadrant 4 was what she called her waste quadrant. And she said, you're wasting time. That is trivial work, excess activities, excess relaxation, games, TV, gossip. And she said, we all need downtime. We all need that night when we sit down with our husband and watch a TV movie, but it cannot be the norm if you are wanting to get to the next rank. And understand me when I'm talking about these things, is this gal was there to tell us what we need to look at if we want to keep moving forward, or if you want to just stay where you are. And so quadrant 2 is where she told us we really need to spend most of our time, and that's what she called extraordinary productivity. And so that is where you have your goals and creative thinking, planning, relationship building, learning, and renewal, personal development, spending time in those areas. Those are the things that move you forward. And so she, it was just, and she, of course, explained it a lot more than I am. I'm just giving you a brief overall. This book was written by Corey, Kogon, Adam Merle, and Lena. And Lena was our speaker. Rinne is the last name on that. And I'll type it in here at the end. So I'll give you the status though. So those were the 4 quadrants. And she said 52 or 51% spend their time on the quadrant 1, the urgent. 30% of the people spend their time in quadrant 2. And quadrant 2 is where we move forward. The other 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, 41% of people's time is spent in those. So she said, you know, you have our time percents backwards if you are wanting to move forward. But anyway, I haven't got all of this book read. I just know the parts that she spoke about and talked about. And then, you know, we had a lot of talk about different things we can do to help us as far as moving forward, building legs, of course, our relationship building. And we talked about health, taking care of yourself. Yeah, and Skylar Post, keeping gatherings fresh, incorporating new ideas. They did share a lot of different things, like, you know, the elderberry syrup classes that are going around. And one of the gals shared with me, she does a chai tea latte class. And of course, you're going to incorporate your Young Living things, because not only are they around your house, but you're also using those in your activities that you are doing. I'm going to look at my notes here. I'm trying to remember. Does everybody on the call know what it takes to get to the different ranks? I guess I should ask that, because retreats start at silver. So once you hit silver and you're on it 3 months, you qualify for a retreat. So silver is 10,000 OBG and 2 legs at 4,000. And then from silver to gold to platinum and on up, everybody qualifies. And yeah, retreats begin at silver. So, and at the farm, when we was at the farm, so not only did we get a wonderful tour of the farm, they built a beautiful cabin up there for when people are there, then they have a place to stay. But we got a bottle of Melissa at the farm. And if any of you have Melissa or know what Melissa is, it's an expensive oil, but it is a wonderful, wonderful oil for like antibacterial, antiviral, all those kind of things. People that have a tendency to get sick, that would be an oil you would want to have on hand. And so we got that at the farm. We also got the last day a watch. I did bring that out here. And so it's black sandalwood. I don't know if you guys can see that or if anybody, but anyway, it's made of wood, and the handle is, or the wristband. And so that was really, really cool. They had those in our room on Saturday night. And Skylar, I would know we talked the other day. Help me remember some of the things I was going to talk about.
Sandy, do you want to go through maybe some of the excursions that you got to do while you were there?
Yes. So on the one morning, if you went rafting in the afternoon, you had your morning free. And if you went rafting in the morning, you got your afternoon. So me and another gal, some of the ladies we had heard that had some free time the day before had went on a hike. And they were telling us how gorgeous it was, which it is beautiful out there in Spokane in that area. And so they did this 2-mile loop. And so we thought, okay, cool, we're going to go do that. So we took an Uber, went over, and the Uber dropped us way off down in this park. I mean, and we're in the mountains, you know. So we go to this park and they dropped us off and we said, now, can we get an Uber back here? And he said, well, you should be able to. And we were like, no, 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 we have somewhere we have to be this afternoon. We got to know we got to get an Uber. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we take off on this 2-mile hike. Unfortunately, we missed our turn or something because finally we decided this is a lot longer than 2 miles. And so we started, so we went this way and then we went that way, and they just had these little markers. So we finally stopped and said, okay, and so we pulled an app up on the phone and then pulled up trails. But we saw this, which seemed to be in the middle of nowhere to us. There was this little campsite and there was a pickup up there. So it's like, okay, let's go up and talk to this guy and see. And so we walk up, and it's just me and another lady. And we walk up there, and the guy could tell that obviously we were kind of lost. But the cool thing about this little camp area, every camp stall had a horse stall. So it's up in the mountains, and they do horse trail back riding. And so it was a neat little place. And so he's like, oh, yeah, you girls are way off. So you need to go down here and turn, but he says, take the one that's not marked. And we're like, what? And he's like, yeah, you're not going to get there if you keep following that one, because it's going to go over the mountain on the other side. And it's like, oh. So we go back and go around, and we take this trail that wasn't marked. We finally got back. It ended up being a 6-mile hike for us instead of a 2-mile. But she was my age. We had the best conversation, and just learned and shared different things with each other. So that was fun, but it was absolutely beautiful. And we were along a river, and we were heading to see a waterfall, but we never did see a waterfall. So we're not exactly sure. And then that afternoon we went with the rafting, and I was kind of concerned about rafting at first because but they said it would be gentle. But it was really cool because we all had a guide in our boat, and they pretty much took care of us. But they did have us train, all of us practice doing it together and that kind of thing. And did you get an Uber, someone, Mindy? Mindy, we did, but it took a while. We tried, and the Uber guy didn't come, so we call him. Well, there's another point, and he was on the other side of the mountain to pick us up. So then when we explained that, no, this was the point. Okay, he said, give me a little while, I'll be over. So it took probably 30 minutes before the Uber guy did get back over to us. And we then hustled. We got back to our motel, grabbed a quick bite, got our things, and then got on the bus to go rafting. So it was a fun, busy day. But they took really good care of us. And we had a lot of fun. So that was good. There was about 500 people there. I was surprised. Some of them were staff, Young Living people that were there to help with things. But I can't remember exactly the number of golds. But what was surprising, it wasn't just golds. There was diamonds, there was platinums. And so one of the gals, I had heard her speak at Diamond Bound last year, and I thought, I know she's a diamond. And so I went over, Heather Brock was there. And so I went over and I said, aren't you a diamond? Because she goes, yes, I am. But she said, due to pregnancies and babies, you can wait. Yeah, you can defer on taking your trip and go a different time. And so there was a couple of others that diamonds. One of the interesting ones was Sandy, which Skyla knows. I didn't know she was a diamond. And so we're visiting and we're walking. She's one of them going on our collaboration supper. And we're walking along just visiting. And so she asked, where I was from and who was my closest diamond. And I said, Skyla. And she goes, oh, I just love Skyla. I said, you know Skyla? And she said, yes. And so then I found out that she said a couple more things. I looked at her, I said, are you a diamond? She said, yes, I am. So we had a wonderful visit. She's a sweetheart. So, not just learning from cross lines of our own rank, but also those above us that were there and shared and really took time to give us information and tips and all that good stuff. But just getting to know people, that was one of my things. I went with that in mind, that I was going to meet others and find out as much as I could from them, what they do in their areas and what's working and what's not working. And so I enjoyed being able to do that, and came home with a lot of information. So that I would have to go through my notes to share that, but I'd be happy to share what I can. And then they talked a lot about mindset. Your business is only as good as your mind, your thoughts. And so they had us go through some mindset activities. And what do you, when somebody says a word, what do you think? And you write it down. And is that not good or bad, but maybe not in your best interest? One of the very first ones they said, when this gal was speaking on mindset, she said, okay, ladies, well, it wasn't just ladies. Okay, everybody, what is the big buzzword you hear when you talk to someone, or you talk about having an oily gathering or getting with someone? She said, what do you hear? And everybody went, I'm so busy. And she goes, exactly. She says, I want you to change that language, because she said, saying that you're busy brings you more busyness, which may not be the busy that we want. So they talked about reframing that as, I'm working on projects, or, I have lots of activities I enjoy doing. Skyla the other day made the comment, I choose all that I'm doing, or you said something to that effect. So the importance of watching our words and what we're saying and speaking over what we do on a daily basis. And so they did a lot of those mindset activities. They would say a word and we'd write down our first thought, and then they would help us make a higher choice for that. So that was really fun and cool, because it's everyday words that we use that we don't think about, might not be in our best interest to say. So there was a lot of those kind of things.
Sandy, can I interject one quick thought?
Yes,
here?
please do.
So I am reading a new book that I just got yesterday, and it's by a wonderful author called, her name is Marie Forleo, and the title of the book is Everything is Figure-Outable. And it's this whole belief system. But in regards to what you just mentioned about so many of us claiming that we're busy, one of the profound statements that she made in her book was that if we are all smart enough to get to where we are right now, meaning that if we are so busy with activities and children and church and work and whatnot, then by golly, we are also smart enough to get ourselves out of that situation. And you guys, I had to stop and really reread that a couple of times, because, I mean, just think about it. We are all choosing, and that is exactly the words that I used when Sandy and I talked earlier this week. I choose every single thing that I do. And the plate is fairly full, but it's all of my own doing. And I just think, wow, when you think about the fact that we're smart enough to get to where we are, we're definitely smart enough, if we want to get out of that situation, if we want to be less busy, we are smart enough to do that too. So I just had to throw that in, because it was just such an aha moment. And it probably shouldn't even be that profound, but it is.
I know. Well, and that's one of the things she talked about, is that we all say no to things every day.
Yes.
And it's just, and we say yes to things every day. And it's just, as she was saying, in those quadrants, picking where you're going to say yes and picking where you're going to say no, and recognizing what's truly you need to be doing and what activities we don't. And she said, when people start really looking at their time, they see how much time they actually are doing non-important activities that, applies. One of the books that she recommended was called Growth Mindset. Okay. It's by Dr. Carol, and I think it's Dweck last name. I'm not sure on the last name, because I had to write really fast. So, but Growth Mindset was the book that she recommended. And the other one, of course, is a lot of you may already know by Big Al, how to build network marketing leaders.
Okay.
So that was one that she talked to us about also when we were talking. But the growth mindset thing was, she really got into a lot of detailed on that. And then she also talked about, so for people, when you get into that busyness stuff, also, if people think you're just working all the time, it's not very attractive. It's not very attractive to your team or to others that may go, oh, I don't know if I want to work that hard. We all have a season of hustle where, yes, we do work hard, but it's not always. You have that where you're building, and then you have that where you get to coast. So, she said, pick your work time, set hours, and, whether it's 9 to 11 in the morning or 9 to 11 at night or your lunch hour, pick your time and set it, and then focus and work at that time. Some of us are sporadic. I do a little here, a little there, and a little there in between this and that. But she said, if it appears that everybody thinks you're just working all the time, it might not be attractive. So we talked about that and how to have set hours to work, but then work. No interruptions, no, distractions, you work. And so that was good information. I mean, there was just so much information. I could talk and talk and talk, but
I've got a couple questions for you, Sandy.
Please, yes.
Okay, so you and I both know that it took a lot of intentional work for you to reach the place where you are.
Yes.
So the first question is, has it been worth it?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. And the second question is, because I'm looking at the names of those that are joining us tonight. And we have a whole variety of people at different ranks and different places in their Young Living journey. What would you say has been a couple of your best decisions that you made in your building years? Now, we know that it's been 6 years. What were some of the decisions that you made early on that allowed you to reach gold and be able to attain, this trip? And I know that this is not the end of your journey. This is a sweet little spot that you've been able to pause and enjoy. I know that you're still moving forward.
Right.
But to give people at other ranks kind of an idea, because it looks different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so just from your perspective, what were some of the really good decisions that you made that you feel like have blessed your business?
So I was willing to go and do classes for anyone and everyone, even, traveling to do that. When we used to have classes at the coffee shop in Des Moines, I intentionally made time to come to learn so that I could learn, because unless I learn, I can't pour into others. So I always tried to come twice a month, one to a product class and one to a business. I always made those. And I felt that was very helpful because I kept learning, and then I could come home and share and, give that information out. Just being available, I think that has, been very helpful. And then just trying to stay in contact, build those relationships, get to know people. And, I think that was a lot of it. I did a lot of classes there, from executive to silver and even beyond. I did a lot of classes, and I was happy, but, to do it. I enjoy what I do. So to me, it's not really work. I like visiting with people. I like to, be with people. So I enjoy what I do. But yeah, I think, so what about you, Skyla? You on your journey, share with us too.
Well, I think that is something that we share in common, was the desire and the willingness to leave home. And what I think helped me the most early on to build massive momentum was to chase the activity.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care what leg it was in. I didn't care what town it was in or even what state it was in. When someone expressed excitement, I went.
Right.
And obviously, if they invited me, I'm not going to barge into anybody's house. Don't worry about that. But that is what is required, is to chase the excitement, because it is, people are attracted to our energy far more than they are attracted to these bottles of oil. I know that that's hard to believe, you guys, but they want you and your enthusiasm, and the Young Living products are an excellent vehicle. But really, I think what people are looking for is hope, that they might get excited about something again. And we can be the dealers of hope. Okay? And so I think just being willing to go wherever the Spirit leads you is huge. You have to be able to leave home. Mm-hmm. And we can do a lot on Zoom, and hopefully those of you that are watching saw our announcement last night. If you didn't, I will let you know. We will be closing the doors on THQ November 10th. Oh. And so Sandy didn't know that yet. Sorry, Sandy.
I knew you was closing, but I thought maybe you were going to go till the first of the year.
Okay. So. No, our lease is actually up at the end of November.
Oh, okay.
And so we're going to have our final party. I would love to have all of you come. We're going to have a huge party on November 10th, okay, which is a Sunday afternoon. And we would love to have you come and celebrate the transition with us, because it's not a downer. We are doing the classic pivot. We're responding to the way that people are sharing Young Living most effectively right now. And we are wanting to be flexible and fluid to go where we're being called to go. So in many regards, I feel like I'm kind of getting back to my roots and doing what I did in the beginning. But we encourage everybody to do that as well, because imagine the trickle-down effect if not just Sandy and I went and did classes for people, but what if everybody on our team went to 2 team members' homes this month, just 2, mm-hmm, and they helped a new team member gather their warm market together. And you guys know, remember in the beginning, how easy it was to share with your closest circle,
right?
All of the people who, they will support you no matter what, right? If you tell them, you know, I have black tomatoes, I want to sell you some, they'd be like, that's crazy, but I'll come over anyway. Whatever, you know, just anything, they're there, they've got your back. So that's who we start with. And if you would just go help people with their warm market, 2 people, I am telling you that our team would explode so fast, it wouldn't even be funny. So I feel like we just need more soldiers on the ground to do that connecting. And I love, love, love the ideas that Sandy shared from Gold Retreat about freshening up the ideas for gatherings, mm-hmm, the names, you know, just make it fun. Like any crazy idea you can think of, whatever you like to do, right?
Well, I'll share real quick. So we had a couple of gals that shared their list with, and they told me I could share with my team. I can't put them on Facebook, but anybody in my group, or probably maybe on Skyla's, I don't know, I need to ask. But anyway, so I have a whole list. But one of them that I'm in a group with shared, and so my Chelsea is doing it this week. It's called Shark Week. So if you know the Baby Shark song, and it's a whole class around the baby shark and singing baby shark and baby shark, mama shark, you know, or teen shark, kid shark, teen shark, mama shark, grandpa shark. So it was you could do it Facebook or in person. She chose to do it as Facebook because she has little kids. But I have a whole bunch, so anybody that's interested, I will share these with you. Yeah, and they just get creative is interesting. And people are loving that shark. I've been watching and following this week on the Facebook event, and it's just amazing that what is drawing people, that kind of thing. But, all of you can earn this trip. You can all just, by sharing and helping those that you'll be surprised how fast you'll get here. And it happens at Silver first. So I know we have several on our team now that are close. Nakema is on here, and she is running. She will be Silver before long. And Chelsea's getting close to Silver. And I think Angela's getting close to Executive. So once you hit Executive, if you just really get focused, you can hit Silver and be on the Silver retreat. It is, and Kyla, I know, is hit Executive, so it's exciting to see what's happening and those that are sharing. And Nakema, can I share? Well, everybody can see maybe the chats. Nakema had posted, I'm going to share just the courage to share with others and that confidence. Well, my thought on that is the more you share, the more that confidence comes.
Right.
I can remember the first one I did was like, oh, and and then a couple after that, but then it gets comfortable and easy to share. So you definitely can.
I love that. And Sandy, I also love the way that you seem to be able to sow that confidence into your team by partnering with them.
Yes.
And I know that that's something we talk a little bit about, but will you expand on kind of how do you help get a new builder going on your team so that it isn't always you being the one to teach everything? And I know you have done a ton of work, but you're training up new leaders.
So, I go and I'll do as many classes as they are, events or gatherings as they want me to. And sometimes you're just not available, and you're just, okay, you can go do it. You can do it. And they do, and they are successful. But then, once you do it with them or do it for them a while, and then you try to get them to incorporate doing it with you, but find their passion, find what speaks to them, and then just tell their story, share what speaks to them, share what Young Living's done. It's just about telling your story. If you keep telling your story long enough to as many people that will listen, you'll be to Silver and beyond really soon. Everybody has a need, either a physical need, an emotional need, or a financial need. And Young Living can fit all of those. And some people just need relationships. They just need a friend. And sometimes it's just, I have found just being a friend to somebody can also fill a need through Young Living. So you just find that need and then help them find their passion and their need and what they can share and help others with. So it is, yeah. So does anybody else have any other questions that I can answer?
Way to go, Nakema. Nakema says she had a one-on-one today and talked for an hour in the Walmart parking lot. Girl, that is the way it's done. Yep. Show up when people are ready, they're ready. Stranger things have happened. So the next step I would say is when you have things like that happen, I am a witness to the power of always having a premium starter kit in your car. Because you guys, you can, when you say, you know what, I just happen to have one of these in my trunk. Are you ready right now? Because let's do this. You can enroll them on your phone, or you can follow them to a coffee shop and, take care of an enrollment. But it is so powerful when you have that compelling conversation. Investing an hour in the parking lot is huge. And so clearly they're interested, and you just present them with the opportunity right there and say, hey, I've got this bag. Do you want it? Are you ready? Sounds like you're ready. Boom. You've got yourself a new member.
Yeah, and that is just talking to people wherever you're at, whenever and however you can. I did at first did a lot of vendor events. just to get my name out there, an opportunity once I was past my warm market, to get to know other people. And so those are always opportunities. The only thing I would say about vendor market or vendor events is you have to be really good at follow up, because you got to follow up. And sometimes my follow up gets lost in my schedule. So it's important but it's a good way to get your name out, especially like your local ones. At least do your local events. Anytime there's a local event, I try to be present, because you want to keep your name out there, and you never know when you're going to come across a need at one of those events. So I do that.
Fantastic. Well, Sandy, I am so grateful for your leadership on this team. I am so delighted that you were able to be honored for the hard work that you have done. And I know that this is just the beginning. The trips just get more exciting and crazier from here on out. Trust me.
Yes. Everybody should put it on their bucket list. On mine, bucket list or goal, whatever you want to call it, is Ecuador.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So many magical things happen there when you get to see the academy and the farm, and that is truly the Nova Vita Clinic. That is just an amazing experience.
Yeah. So all you ladies plan to go with me.
Yeah. It is more fun to go with friends.
Yes.
Totally. Way more fun. I got to go to Ecuador with, Brian went with, but we also got to go with Bobby and Travis Shaben, because our first year, that was the gold retreat. And they've shifted those a little bit as the numbers have grown, but oh my word, it's so fun to go with friends. So anyway, very good. Well, if there are any other questions, you guys are welcome to take your microphones off mute, or use the chat box. But otherwise, if I don't see any, I think that we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Sandy, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Skyla.
And we will absolutely make this recording available, so that you guys can share it with your team. It really is inspiring to know that we have people on our team that are accomplishing these goals and receiving these rewards that are, I know for me, when I was a teacher, there were never any possible trips ever. No paid vacations in most of our jobs.
Right.
And so to know that this is even on the horizon, I hope gets you guys excited.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's so worth your time.
Indeed. So thank you, everybody. Yes, Sandy, have a great night. And thank you all for joining us.
Yes, everybody have a good evening. Or bedtime almost.
No kidding. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.